Have you played Craft Roulette? I will leave the link to that channel below, but I was able to play for the first time ever last week, and I didn't get a chance to play this week, well, in a timely fashion, but I did make a card and I wanted to show you. Look how cute! It is a square card that is mounted on a 5x7 card, and the parameters were square card right here, butterflies, tide, and I chose to do a man's tie, and then clouds. And look at, I did the little pocket square with clouds. So this is my card. I know I didn't meet the time limit to turn it in, but I thought I would still share. And it's a great little Father's Day card, especially for a girl dad. You know. Anyway, here's how I made it. I started with a handful of products from my stash, including this Stampin' Cut and Emboss set from Stampin' Up, this Spellbinders hot foil set, some pattern paper, and I used several different pattern paper pads to fill the parameters, and I used this pink hot foil. Now, Craft Roulette, they basically give you different things that you have to use and or like your spin on. These parameters is what they call them, and it's super fun. I've actually watched but never really participated until last time I participated. This time I wanted to participate and I just didn't have time to get in my craft room, so today's the day. I am making a Father's Day card because that is coming up, and I thought, what a great idea for Father's Day. So the parameters that Craft Roulette had was a square card, and you'll see I do make a square card. I am going to put it on a 5x7 card, and it actually ends up being a gift card holder. You can slide a gift card into the suit. But I started out by die cutting a bunch of things, all the pieces for the suit and tie, and I am just layering up some of these pieces on some additional white cardstock. This butterfly pattern paper was very thin, so I put it on some thick white cardstock just to add a little bit of structure and dimension. This pink collar I could have just left alone, but I added the die when I ran the tie through, so I'm also layering that, but that pink cardstock is fairly thick. For this pocket, I am going to hot foil Best Dad in that pink foil from Spellbinders, and I am going to use the hinge method, which is taking a little tiny piece of tape, and this is repositionable tape, and you like adhere it to the little hot foil die, and then you adhere it to your paper. I was having a really hard time getting this straight, but I did eventually get it straight, and then once I hit it straight, I did put a little bit of that pink hot foil underneath. Look at me struggle. I was having such a hard time. I don't know. It's kind of hard because you can't see through the die, but I know that the best is straight with the top. So here I am cutting that little piece of foil and making sure I put the silver side down because that is where it sticks to my paper. And now I'm going to set that aside, and I was heating up my hot foil machine off a screen, and now I'm going to go ahead and adhere the little lapels to this jacket. And I did cut each side separately. The die would cut it all out together, but because I'm using pinstripes, I wanted to make sure the pinstripes were going the right way for this piece that would be folded down. And I did just tack them down on that long line, the inner line, I guess, because I want to tuck the pocket that I am going to hot foil. I want to tuck that underneath. And I did cut the collar out of the pink sheet that I'm using as the shirt that's going behind the suit. I just made sure I did it in a place that it would be concealed. So I did run this Best Dad and also a sentiment. This is Happy Father's Day from that other Spellbinders set through my hot foil machine, and it overfoiled a lot. Well, I mean, not a lot, but it overfoiled enough that it was kind of annoying. It's because I used too much pressure, and at first I ran it through with not enough. Anyway, here's a little hack. Use a white eraser, not a sand eraser, a white eraser, It's not going to take the shine off of your foil, and it will pick everything up, or at least most everything up that isn't supposed to be there. So I was able to clean that all up, and I'm going to go ahead and die cut this off screen with this little banner die that came with that set. I use repositionable Scotch tape for almost all of my cutting needs. I find that it's my favorite. And I do keep this little Tim Holtz die cutter on my desk here, and so I just die cutting that out. Isn't it so cute? It's like so perfect. And I used the pink foil. I thought it and then I forgot it was stuck down. I used that pink foil because it coordinated well with the tie paper. And see, there's the little pocket's going to be right there. Isn't it going to be so cute? So when I glue this down, I just go around the outside edge so that I can tuck in a gift card later on. I can tuck it in on one of the sides so it looks like he's keeping it. Did your dad ever keep Cheerios in his suit pocket when you were in church? Mine did. The inside pocket always had a Ziploc baggie full of Cheerios when I was very little. And that's kind of what I was thinking when I was making this. I was like, oh yeah, we got to have a pocket for the Cheerios. So I was trying to decide how this tie goes, because in real life, the collar would kind of go over the tie and the tie would peek through, and then it wouldn't be like this. It would be kind of below, I think below where that little pinch point is, like there. But I decided to put it all the way at the top. I just wasn't sure. So I figured, well, you know, if somebody was really looking that hard, I mean, good on them. But this is what I did. It was fine. Everything's fine. Nothing to see here. So I just, after I decided what I was going to do, and then, you know, made the solid decision where it was going to go, I applied glue, because at this point we were going to be here all day trying to decide what I was going to do with this tie. Didn't it turn out cute though, the tie? It's like, I don't know, springy, and I can just imagine this gentleman walking into, let's say, church with his wife, with like a little girl, and you know, his wife has a butterfly dress on, his little girl has a pink and white checkered dress on or something, just so that he coordinates with them. So the pocket is next, and I did just glue in the areas where it would allow me to stick something in the pocket. The parameters, again, were square card, and that's what we're making. Well, I mean, we alter it later. There were butterflies, and it was tied, and you see I'm using a men's tie for that. And the other thing was clouds, and I still have yet to address that, and I will. So for this Father's Day, the Happy Father's Day, it's out of some very thin paper, so I did cut off screen a couple more of the banners just to add a little bit of strength and dimension to this sentiment, this Happy Father's Day sentiment. And I just used some thick white cardstock that was in my scrap stash, and I am going to go ahead and just adhere these together. It just makes kind of almost like a chipboard sticker. It just has much more strength to it, but also not very dimensional, but has dimension, so there's that. So I'm going to go ahead and adhere this, and I wasn't sure exactly where, but I decided right here. And then once I touched it down, I had to go with it because there was adhesive on the back, and then it wasn't straight. So I did bring out my T ruler. I think first I grabbed the wrong thing, and then I found my T ruler, and that's what I used. See, I just lined it up on the edge and then brought it to the sentiment and pushed it so that it was all straight. And then I needed to figure out what I was going to do for this little pocket square. So I had started pulling some scraps and some pattern paper from my stash, and I could not find a cloud paper that had small enough clouds to read as clouds for a little pocket square, but also I wanted to make sure that I had the right colors. I didn't want it to not coordinate. So I found this cute little cover sheet for another 6x6 pad, but I didn't have much of that paper left, so I actually do end up cutting this one right here. I do end up cutting the little piece right off of the cover, because you can do that, you know, it's yours. So I just cut this out because clearly I don't have this piece of paper anymore, so I don't have to look at the cover and see it and be sad that it doesn't exist, because cloud papers are like my favorite paper. So I was just trimming this up a little bit, and I'm going to use it like a little pocket square, and tucked it in, and I didn't really like that so much, so pulled it back out, folded it a little bit different, and then put it in for good. See, I like that way better. It's clean and it's cute, and you can see the clouds. But I only have a couple of pieces of paper left, and that one was just perfect. It was like the right shade of blue to go with this, and I just thought it was super cute. So we have a square card. We're done, right? No, not so much, because I'm not a huge fan of square cards. They cost more to ship, and I don't know. I don't really carry like square envelopes in my stash of things, and I want this to be a usable card. So I had taken another piece, or like the remaining of this pinstripe pattern paper, and I thought I could kind of piece it together so it looked right, like the sleeves, you know how I cut out the collar, you know, so that it looked right. This didn't work out like I had hoped, but it's fine. It's fine. It's just paper, right? So I trimmed this off after I adhered it down, and that gave me this crazy looking thing, but it gives me enough of that pinstripe background for it to feel like the sleeves of the suit, or as if it's all like folded and laid down on the bed waiting to get dressed, or something like that. But I adhered this down with some foam adhesive to give it a little more dimension, because I really haven't added much more than a few layers of cardstock. So this card can handle a little bit of dimension. And I'm going to go ahead and kind of cover the back pretty liberally. At first I was like, oh yeah, 4 pieces is fine, but I don't think so. I think I end up putting 3 more on here. Yep, I did. I just didn't want it to sink or sag during mailing, shipping. And this one layer of foam tape here will still keep this card thin enough and less bulky. There's no like bumps or anything, so it should just be one postage stamp to mail this. No extras, because it's a square card. It is a great way to get around a square card. So that was a 5x5 dimensional, I guess, gift card holder in the middle. And then I just lined this up, making sure I covered all the white card base that was underneath. And there we have it. There is my Father's Day card using the parameters from Craft Roulette. I didn't get to participate for real, but we'll see if next week looks better. I hope it does. And there's my card. I hope you enjoyed it, and bust those things out of your stash. You can make some pretty awesome things. Anyway, as I always say, give cards generously. Bye.